Hey guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Have you ever felt burnout, even when everything in your life looks successful? Today's guest knows that feeling all too well. Jessica Moini Elom is the founder of the Kindness Catalogue, a platform built for high achievers to rewrite their stress story. Here to tell us how she got there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to take people back a little bit. You may not remember this, but when I first met you, the very first time, Justin Bieber was performing in Dubai in 2013. People may not remember this. And we went to Sundance.
Yes, we did.
Way back then. And I remember at that time, I was just visiting. I didn't live here at that point, but you lived here. And you seemed like you had it going. Like, I remember my brother telling you were, there's the photo.
Yay.
There's me and there's Jessie, 2013, way back when, like a lifetime ago.
You did this to me. You really. Yes.
You look great. Okay, let's go back. Let's remove that.
I love that.
That was way back. But I remember at that time, Rich telling me that you were killing it in your career. And it just felt like, and you were, from my perspective, you were smashing it. What was really going on?
Yes. Okay, so I moved to Dubai when I was 18 and I've been here for 14 years now. I did what everybody came here to do, which is to try and build a career for themselves. And I did a really good job at that. You know, I was earning the money, I had the title, I was winning awards, got the recognition. But at different points over those 13 years in my corporate career, I was just burnt out and exhausted. You know, I suffered with anxiety, panic attacks, stress-induced alopecia. I lost like 30% of my hair overnight. And the funny thing, yeah. So it's quite a big thing for anyone, but I think especially for a woman. And, you know, the thing was, I was not comfortable enough to talk about it at the time. That's changed completely now. You know, I really do talk about what I'm going through because it helps my clients that I work with. But at the time, I really felt under this immense pressure to keep it to myself because of the shame that was associated with it. Because I thought if I showed that I was struggling, it meant that I was a failure. It meant that I wasn't cut out for the corporate world. I wasn't cut out for Dubai. So I hid it, and at every obstacle, I overcame it. The next one came along, I overcame it, but I definitely suffered in silence for a long time.
It's so interesting because what looks to us like something that's amazing, there's something so different going on. So at that point, what did success look like to you? Like, what were you trying to achieve, and how far were you going at that point to reach it?
Oh, you know, I come from a really humble household back in England, you know, council estate, and I'm really proud of that because my ambition to achieve and to create success in the form of financial success, that was my drive, you know, so I didn't stop. It was 7 days a week, always on. Even when I wasn't at work, it was out socializing with clients. They became my friends. And so my entire life revolved around work. So at the time, that is what success looked like to me until 2019 was the last time I burnt out. And I just sat down with myself and I said, if I don't feel good, what's the point of it all? You know, so I decided that I was going to make some changes, and that started with studying psychology, human behavior, coaching, NLP, and then I implemented everything that I learned into my own life. And I was like, okay, this stuff actually works. You know, a lot of people have this misconception that it's fluffy, it's, you know, positive thinking, affirmations, but there is science behind this stuff. And I really dig deep to find practical tools, which is what I was lacking at the time, which is what I couldn't find anywhere. And then that led me to build the Kindness Catalogue.
So interesting, and it's such an amazing transformation story. But just for people watching, what can you describe what burnout is and what it felt like for you? And you said it happened a couple of times. So what are the stages of burnout?
So this is the interesting thing, and this is why it's so hard for people to identify, because it looks so different for everyone. I think a common thing that I've seen for myself and amongst my clients is you wake up exhausted after a full night's sleep and you don't know why. You know, you might be eating all the right food, you might be working out, you might be doing everything right, ticking all the boxes, but you're still tired. That is what I would say is the common theme. But I think other than that, it can show up so many different ways. You know, not finding happiness in the things that usually bring you happiness, snapping at people, getting, you know, irritated easily. But yeah, I think the easiest way to really understand if you're burnt out is checking in with yourself. You know, it seems so simple, but we really neglect the idea of talking to ourselves. You know, we're with ourselves 24/7. On the way to the bathroom, in the middle of meetings, you could literally say to yourself, how are you? You know, what do you need right now to feel better? And a lot of the time we have the answers.
Interesting. You said that you weren't able to talk about it at that time. To what extent? If you had a partner, were you able to talk to them?
Yes.
Did your mom know? Did your family know? Like, how inward was it?
Yeah, so I definitely, like, close circle, they knew, but I think beyond that, because of what I was making it mean that I had failed, I wasn't good enough, it was reaffirming all of these limiting beliefs that I had, which naturally a lot of us have based on, you know, the way that we're either raised or the experiences that we have in school and college and so on. So yeah, I definitely involved my close circle, but beyond that, it took a lot of work. Even when the hair grew back, it was working with coaches, working with therapists, studying it myself to really get the answers, you know, to really understand that my worth isn't linked to my productivity. And at the time, they were the same things for me, you know.
And so tell us about the journey of corporate and now the kindness catalogue. When did one end? How did it end? And how did the other come about?
Okay, so after 2019, my last burnout, I started studying and slowly implemented everything that I was learning into my corporate career. I saw the success. I was a commercial director, so for me, it was one, feeling good, which is what I was learning through coaching, but at the same time, I had a role to fulfill. So it was also the bottom line, you know, the return on investment for the business. So I saw the success twofold across both of those things, and I started to think about how powerful this could be in the corporate environment to professionals. So I started coaching friends, my team, you know, the people that I work with. And eventually, when I saw that this wasn't just a me thing, that this could be used across the board, I decided this time last year, I left and I started the Kindness Catalogue.
Amazing. So you're doing it full time now. Was there any help? We don't need to focus on your workspace specifically, but do you think workplaces can do more to help with burnout? Like, are there common signs that you would be able to see among employees that workplaces should be kind of looking out for?
Yes, and I do really want to touch on my company, because my company was amazing. Really, when I finally was brave enough to come forward to my boss and say, hey, I don't feel good, you know, I need to make some changes, I need to set some boundaries and so on, he was amazing. And the company, you know, so a lot of the time it's in our own head that support won't be reciprocated. Sometimes, of course, it is a company culture problem. So yes, there are so many things that corporates can do to incorporate wellness, and it goes far beyond, you know, team building or the odd yoga session or a fruit bowl. It's deeper than that. And I think getting involved with companies like the Kindness Catalogue. So a lot of what we do is we offer free resources, free support online. We also offer one-on-one coaching, but we also work with corporates, and that's something that we're starting to focus on now, going in and really teaching these signs and symptoms and creating, the most important thing is creating this psychological safety and trust amongst teams to be able to communicate with each other and not have the fear that they're going to be fired, afterwards.
It's so interesting. Let's look at a case basis. There's employees in companies, let's say they're not manager level, they're not director level, but they still want to help their colleagues. Yeah. So many of us, maybe we're not in a position of power, but we want to help. So what are signs that I could look out for in my fellow employees that they could be leading towards burnout? And if so, what could I do to help them?
I think having a conversation, a lot of people are masters at hiding how they really feel, but unless you have a conversation and pick up on the signs that somebody is either uncomfortable or unhappy, that will be really, really hard to identify. Other than, the obvious people-pleasing, over-giving, maybe at that point you can sit down with a colleague and say, hey, is everything okay? But I would say if you are somebody in a company that is looking to support their colleagues, just taking the time to ask them how they are, how their weekend was, how's life going in general. And if you create that safe environment, I'm sure that a colleague needing support will open up.
And you mentioned earlier what it felt like for you as you hit burnout, but what are signs that someone is nearing it?
So the signs that somebody is nearing burnout is, again, just feeling tired when you have had a full night's sleep. It is really finding the things that you would usually find happiness in not fulfilling anymore. Right. And even things that you enjoy almost become a chore, another thing to do, part of the list. And one big thing is listening to the voice in your head. The beliefs that we have are fueled by the thoughts. And so if somebody's approaching burnout, they're going to have a pretty heavy dialogue going on internally. So I'd say as an individual, something that you can listen out for is, the words that you say to yourself in your head. And if you say things like, oh, this isn't good enough, I could do better, I can't be bothered to go in today, and anything that is got a negative spin on it, that is a sign that you may need some help.
It's so interesting to watch your journey, but for people watching today who are going through it, can you honestly say that doing this work, doing this positive talk, doing this gratitude and self-belief, it will transform their lives?
100%, but with a caveat. So it goes so much deeper than that. And honestly, I tried the positive thinking. I tried the gratitude. I meditated every day, for years, and I was still burnt out. So what I would say is that's what makes the Kindness Catalogue different. It is a place full of practical tools, and people that come from corporate, they like strategy, they like structure, and that is exactly what the Kindness Catalogue has to offer. But I think as a starting point, talk to somebody, a friend, family, a colleague. Yes, practice gratitude, do your meditation, do your positive affirmations, and if that still doesn't work, then reach out to a company like the Kindness Catalogue or another coach, a therapist. Like, the help is there if you take the time to go and look for it.
And what does success look like to you now? You said at the beginning of this interview that you were motivated by financial. Now, what is your success story?
So I am, at heart, an achiever. I love the feeling of achievement. So that, of course, still plays an element in what I think success is. But above that is how I feel. It is getting to the end of the day, lying in bed and saying, yeah, that was a good day. It's as simple as that. Nice. And I think it took me a long time to get there, but honestly, that is the most powerful shift that I've experienced.
It's so simple, but such a lovely
Yeah.
feeling, getting into bed and saying, I had a great day.
Absolutely.
And that's what Jessie and the Kindness Catalogue are helping people do, especially high achievers in the workplace. They're here for you. How can people get in touch with you in the Kindness Catalogue if they would like more information?
So we're available on every platform at the Kindness Catalogue. Also our website. We have free resources. We have a free webinar coming up on the 15th of July to talk about work-life alignment. So that's a great one for everyone. But other than that, my DMs are open.
So good. And if you're not experiencing burnout, but you know someone who is, share this interview with them. They could truly benefit from it. Thank you so much, Jessie, for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Have a beautiful day, everyone. See you then. Bye-bye.